So here's the latest. They're filing a motion basically saying the feds botched the case by not getting proper warrants to search the computers in the first place. The way they gathered all their evidence was basically wrong, and so therefore all of the evidence should be thrown out by virtue of the fruit of the poison tree doctrine. Let's continue here with a story from Wired.com. The motion that's been filed refers to 14 distinct searches and seizures of Ulbricht's computers, equipment, and online accounts. Beyond the initial tracing of his alleged servers in Iceland, investigators performed several of those surveillance operations with trap and trace or pen register orders that don't require the probable cause standard necessary to convince a judge to sign off on a warrant. The warrantless surveillance ops included asking Comcast for information related to Ulbricht's alleged IP address in San Francisco, and even in the cases when investigators did get a warrant before performing their searches, as in the case of a Samsung laptop believed to belong to Ulbricht, as well as his Gmail and Facebook accounts, Ulbricht's defense argues that those warrants were unconstitutional general warrants that allowed a wholesale dump of his private data, rather than allowing the search for a specific piece of information. Quote, many of the warrants constitute the general warrants abhorred by the framers, which led directly to the Fourth Amendment. The wholesale collection and study of Mr. Ulbricht's entire digital history without limitation, expressly sought in the warrants and granted, represent the very type of indiscriminate rummaging that caused the American colonists so much consternation. So
basically, they would get the king. They would get from the king a warrant, or from the governor. But I mean, basically, in the name of the king. They would get a warrant to, this person is suspicious and stuff. We'd like to go toss their house.
And find whatever we may.
Yeah, we just like to look. We just need to take a look and find out whatever it is they do. And, you know, when you lived in a culture like that and you saw that there were problems with something like that, you would put in place some restraints. However, we're 200 and something years from that culture, and people don't know what people don't think about. We live in a culture where people worship the government, where they immediately believe when a prosecutor says that somebody's guilty.
He's done it.
He's done it.
Yeah.
Now you've essentially got to prove that you didn't do it.
It's sad.
Even 100 years ago, you didn't have that in this country. But somehow or another, we've become a nation of sycophants and bootlickers, and I don't know where it came from.
So the sort of a real-life corollary to this example, just kind of make it a little more understandable, is the idea of this general warrant versus specific. The idea behind warrants in this country, in the United States, is that they're supposed to state specifically what it is, the item there or information that they are looking for.
Yeah, it's supposed to be specific.
And so if in the case of them raiding a home, for instance, they're looking for perhaps drug growing equipment or something.
Bloody boots or something.
Yeah, right. So, we think there's marijuana in this house or being grown in this house, so we're looking for marijuana growing equipment. If they are to come across, something that might be illegal that's in the process, that, like a marijuana smoking pipe or a bag of cocaine, maybe that wouldn't be admissible. That's probably not the best example, but if they're coming in looking for a person.
What about an unregistered gun?
Right. How about a person? They're coming in looking for a person. Well, they can't search your coffee table. If they're looking for Johnny, right, they can't search your coffee table if Johnny can't fit in the little drawer that's on your coffee table, right? So that's one example of it. And if they're looking for Johnny and they find a bong, they might be able to confiscate the bong because it's illegal, but they shouldn't be able to charge you with having that bong. That's my understanding. I'm not a lawyer.
This is not legal advice.
But is that pretty much your understanding of the idea of a specific warrant versus a general warrant? They don't.
I'm sure it's been perverted over time.
Sure. But that's the idea of it. That's what it's supposed to be about.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.